Hi, my name's Galen Bell. I grew up in church. A lot of people think that if you grow up in church that you have a perfect life. Sadly, I'm here to say that, well, that's wrong. My life wasn't necessarily painless. I've been through a lot of trials even though I've gone to church. And this is my story. Like I said, I grew up in church, but I never really understood what salvation was. I never really understood who really God was or who Jesus was. And I remember one day in middle school, in one of my classes, one of the guys that I was in class with, he came up to me and he asked me if I'd ever looked at pornography before. I said no, I hadn't, and he told me, Galen, you got to go home and look at this stuff. It'll make you feel good. It's really cool. So I remember out of curiosity, I went home and I typed a couple words into Google, a couple keywords, and up pops all this porn. And right there I was hooked. And it was because it made me feel like I was wanted. It made me feel like somebody actually wanted to be with me, to be around me. About a year later, my dad actually caught me looking at porn. I remember I just felt sorry. And I wasn't necessarily sorry that I sinned. I was more along the lines of sorry that I got caught. For me, my sophomore year in high school was a really big one. My dad had come out as an alcoholic. This really made me angry because I also heard my mom talk about how he had looked at pornography, different things like that. And so for me, what that did was that just made me so angry that I just got deeper and deeper and deeper into pornography, because finally this was some place where I felt like I was safe, some place where I felt like it freed me. It made me feel like I could be me completely, because my dad had betrayed me. My dad had broken my heart. Later on, my sophomore year, after my dad came out with all this junk, I went on a band trip over spring break to Florida. There was this girl on the trip that I really wanted to be my girlfriend. I really wanted to pursue a relationship with her. During that week, I found out that she was leading me on, and that really hurt me. And so I remember one night I went up to my room in the hotel and I was just bawling. I was bawling because of this girl, I was bawling because of my dad and all that junk. I was also crying because of all the sin that I went through and that I was in. I didn't really know what to do, I didn't really know where to turn. And so for some reason I brought my Bible with me. And I remember reading Matthew 10:22, and it really stuck with me. It says, "All men will hate you because of me, but the one who endures to the end will be saved." And that very last part of that verse really just hit me. The one who endures to the end will be saved. And I just felt like God was telling me, you know what, Galen, you don't need all this junk. You don't need any of this other stuff. All you have to do is endure through it. Just because your dad is jacked up doesn't mean you have to be messed up. This really spoke to me, like God was trying to say, endure through all of this. And I remember that night as I was bawling, I was sitting in the bed, this hotel room, and I just began to pray. And I just began to ask Jesus to come into my heart. I just began to ask Jesus to make me new. And I prayed like I never really prayed before, and I asked Jesus into my heart like I've never ever done before. This time I really understood that I was a fallen, horrible, sinful creature that Jesus could make new. Now I'm an intern at a youth ministry here in town. I'm also going to school for youth ministry, and that's my story. God's taken me through a lot of stuff, and He still has a lot of things that He wants to lead me through. But the only thing that I know is that I will endure. I'll endure to the end because Jesus will be my reward.